It is NBA Draft Eve. Is that even a thing? I mean, we can call it the NBA Draft Eve. It is Sweep the League. The Rock's not here tonight. Wipe your tears. It's no more sad faces. The Rock had a meeting. So it's just going to be myself. It's going to be Stats, and it's going to be Shemaya on the beats tonight, holding it down here on the latest episode of Sweep the League. Guys, it's Wednesday night, man. It's Draft Eve. Tomorrow's the NBA Draft. Twitter is balls to the wall right now. And it's so terrible, in my opinion, because why is it? I got a lot of stuff. I got a rant. But why is it that every NBA draft year, forget the Spurs, NBA draft year, you have everybody talking about this guy is going to be a superstar. He's going to take this team to the next level. Oh my God, this guy's so talented. Yada, 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 yada. Do y'all see the same BS that I see every time around this time on social media?
I think there's an unnecessary amount of hype all over the place. And in general, though, just with how many, especially trashy takes there are and how easy it is for people to just...
You can call people out. Call them out.
I mean, just in general, Twitter in general likes to put down these young kids who are entering the draft and, tout other players. And it's really interesting, Rudy, at least with Spurs Twitter. I've seen so many different, like I guess, bandwagons for different potential Spurs that could be joining the team, like as far as
trades.
Draft.
Have you seen the trades?
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking the absolute bullshit trades. Like, we're going to trade for, that's another one I'm going to get to. Oh, Gordon Hayward's going to come to San Antonio because he's available now. So we're going to give them, Doug McDermott and Jock Lundell and Zach Collins and, pick in 2032 in the second round. But you know what? They're going to take it because it matches. The numbers match.
Right.
No, they're not.
Oh my gosh. Those armchair GMs, man, they're powerful on Twitter. They're strong on Twitter.
Yeah.
The armchair GMs. I saw one potential trade that involved trading both Jakob and DJ.
What was that one? Tell me that, because I don't think I saw that.
It was ridiculous. I can't even remember exactly who it involved, like the number 4 pick or like the number 3 pick or something. It was like a wacky 3-team trade. But I didn't get a chance to see the specifics, but all I know is it involved both Jakob and DJ, and it was ridiculous. And of course it got trashed on.
That's primarily everything, man. I mean, You see a lot of trash on these armchair GMs. I'm going to go through a few of them now. So like right here, you've got, one guy saying, hey, we can trade Keita, the notorious KBD, Keita Bates Diop, the 20th pick and the 38th pick this year for Cleveland's number 14 pick. I don't think Cleveland's going to give up the 14th pick to move down the draft.
No.
And you know what? We're going to give you the notorious KBD because he's going to make your team that much better.
He did have that 30-point game.
You're really scratching to get some traction on this shit here, for real. I mean, that's one deal. Okay, does it make sense? Maybe it does. But the trades, some of these guys, you want to move up to Sacramento. Okay, Sacramento has one glaring need, and they need someone alongside Sabonis. So I get you're not going to probably get a Banchero. You're not going to get a Holmgren. You're not going to get a Jabari Smith. Number 4, you can go and get a Keegan Murray, but Sacramento wants to win now. They if you look at Sacramento on paper stats, they've got a decent team. They're like a player away from being very competitive. And that player is, I agree with Mike Brown and the front office in Sacramento. It's not a rookie. There's no impact rookie. All these armchair GMs, all these people on social media worlds are saying, this guy could turn a franchise around. This guy, I'm going to call complete total bullshit. This is not a franchise player draft. This draft is going to have maybe 1 or 2 superstars potentially.
Yeah.
This is a draft where you get a couple of starters, you're going to get a bunch of role players. You're going to get guys that are going to make a difference. How are you seeing this draft? Because if you're seeing it any opposite way, I definitely want to hear this.
I see more projects. So like I do agree to a sense with what you're saying there. But I also believe that, like you said, there are a few guys who are more NBA ready than others. But at the end of the day, all of these guys are going to be projects, including I'm actually seeing a lot of steam and a lot of potential for the Spurs to end up with Jalen Duren in this draft. And even then, he is still a project. And I think it's going to benefit him that he's going to potentially be behind Jakob for a season, because Jakob still has another season with the Spurs. And Duren is not ready right now, so he could use that season to kind of get his feet wet and get some more strength and work on his fundamentals.
Are you going to be pissed off if Duren goes to Austin? I mean, technically he shouldn't. I mean, he shouldn't be in Austin.
Yeah, he shouldn't. Yeah,
but
I mean, really,
it's the Spurs MO, man. I mean, it's what they're known for. They don't give a shit if you're drafted, 3rd or 23rd. That you probably are going to spend time in Austin, unless you just have, a nutso summer and you have a fantastic summer training camp. Then you're going to be on the roster. But Duren is the guy that everybody's pointing at. You see all the mock drafts, which I don't have Duren falling past Portland. And actually, you know what? I take it back. Portland picked up Jeremy Grant today. So they don't need that big that they were so coveting right now. So now maybe Duren does fall. But can Duren be taken before Keegan? And potentially Keegan Murray drops to 9th? There's not a whole lot of teams in that top 8 position that need a big if you're like really studying it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I've seen Johnny Davis, his name out there, like potentially winding up with the Spurs. I caught a few articles about kind of player breakdowns and some interviews, actually by Jeff Garcia too. So
shout out Jeff.
Yeah, shout out Jeff over there. But he got a chance to interview some of the players and like get their thoughts on what they think of San Antonio, what they thought of the workout. But Johnny Davis, like you said, Keegan Murray, Jalen Duren. There are a bunch of names, but there isn't. It's interesting because with this season, it feels like everyone's got a guy, and it doesn't seem like there is that one dude that everyone can just agree on that's going to wind up in San Antonio.
Everybody wants Duren, but the other name that keeps popping up is Jeremy Sokin from Baylor, and I don't see him being drafted at 9. 9 is way too early, man. Like,
would the Spurs do it?
Well, I mean, the Spurs have balls. They do ballsy moves. Yeah, they really do. So to say that San Antonio, the front office, is a boring organization, those guys can literally kiss my ass, because the Spurs, they actually have balls. When they want to make a move, they make a move. And majority of the time, that move is in the draft. You're talking about a team that drafted Lucas Simonik at 19 and Keldon Johnson at 29, same year. I mean, they got nutso, man. They got nuts because I didn't expect Keldon Johnson to drop to 29th. There was no way. I mean, right? I mean, I don't know, man. I can see them. I see them drafting the best player available. And I've gotten some shit over that on Twitter. People have tweeted at me like, you're wrong. You don't take the best player available. You got to fill needs. Yeah. The needs for a growing organization, a young organization, is BPA, best player available. And then you have the whole shtick. You have too many guards. Who gives a shit? This is a guard ran league. You're gonna have small lineups. So, what is the point of you got to get another guard? Why do you want to fill the bigs position? I mean, it makes no sense to me at all. And then not only that, are you really going to keep Lonnie Walker? So there goes another shooter.
Exactly. And that's the other case here is that, so you go with best player available, like with GM Wright was saying. I agree with that mentality and that strategy as well. But it goes along with that, though, because so what, you could wind up with a few extra guards than you anticipated, but there's always trades, there's always cuts, like you mentioned. Yeah.
Thank you. You can always hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. Like, and wouldn't you want the biggest potential opportunity like at getting a piece that could change your franchise and then like make adjustments later with cuts or trades? Or are you just too concerned with having too many guards so you pass up on that talent? You know, it's just common sense stuff here.
It's all common sense. And, the part that I don't get with Spurs fans is the fact that when we say best player available, it doesn't mean, you're right, best player available, Jalen Duren, because he's the best player available and he feels a need. Okay, I get that. If he's the best player available at 9, then you make that move. But what do you like? Okay, so you grab a Duren, and what I'm getting is, does he really feel that need? I mean, the kid is only he was coming out of a freshman year out of Memphis. I mean,
so. Yeah.
You don't have 4-year players anymore. So this is, like you said earlier, this is 100%, 99.9% of the time, a developmental draft. And that's the way it's going to be for years. You have more guys coming out of the G League this year, like a ton of them. And Duren may be the best player available. But can you really say, okay, I'm at 9. I've got the Knicks hounding me right now. Well, let's trade. We'll send, whoever to you plus the 11th pick. You go down a few spots. Isn't Mark Williams from Duke kind of the same need to fill when it comes to a big? You can get Jeremy Sokin at 11, I'm sure. So you're going to pay less for the rookie and you're going to get a couple of assets. That's the way I don't understand how people don't think. I mean, yes, Jalen Duren, he's there. Take him. But what if you can get the same type of player or very close to the same type of player later on, but get assets for him?
And that's a good point, too. That's another way of looking at it.
People hate me. They really hate me.
Well, you try to put all the perspectives in mind, and then you decide which one you lean more towards. And I feel like not enough people do that. They pick one because it's the only one they've seen, and then they kind of ride or die. It's like they've decided to lock in on that without being open-minded and embracing potential other points of views,
I get that. But, I love that you called me the smartest man on earth. I truly love that you called me that because
you're ravishing too,
I'm ravishing. I'm smart. I have the complete package. I mean, I am literally 80 pounds away from being Shemaiah, who is the complete package.
Oh my gosh.
100%.
What a stud.
He's a stud. I mean, you know what else? He's a stud. And the other thing that starts with an S is Shemaiah. I mean, it goes hand in hand. Stud Shemaiah. And he doesn't even want to comment because he knows he's in the background laughing and smiling because he knows it's true. Yeah,
they should call him Stud on the Beat, man. Seriously.
Yeah, Stud on the Beat. Shemaiah, can we change it to Stud on the Beat? Or do we have to keep it Shemaiah on the Beat?
Hell no.
Okay, there you go. There's Shemaiah. There's 2 words for the show. Right
we had to get him into the show here. So, all right, man. We're going to get into more Spurs talk here for the Spurs team. This has swept the league every single Wednesday night. The Rock's not here. Derek's training. So he's got a massive AAU team. So he's still training. We're going to do some segments with Derek. I've been talking to him lately, but you're here with us. It's Rudy. It's Shemaiah on the Beats, or Stud, as we're going to call him. And stats. We're talking NBA draft. We're getting on the Spurs Twitter here, trying to figure out what the hell are you guys thinking? But let's get into overall NBA draft. Give me one guy, Stats, that you were excited to see come into the league. You want to watch some summer ball. You want to see him, how he's playing in summer, come into the league. He may not be dominant, but he's just a guy that tickles the pickle. We're going to say he just tickles the pickle. Which guy is that coming into the league next year through this draft?
Man, after reading up a little bit on him, Johnny Davis kind of piques my interest because he's got
friend of the
qualities.
show. Because Derek Gervin knows him personally.
Ooh, hey, shout out Johnny Davis. Congrats, man. Congrats. Have fun on draft night. Not too much fun, though. But
Taco Bell, isn't it? Taco Bell?
Yeah. Yo quiero Taco Bell. Yeah, but, Johnny Davis, man, I was reading a little bit up on him, and he's got traits that are like some of the things that he's very good at are close to being NBA ready. But of course, as we've established, this draft and drafts in general are more about getting projects and developing them and trusting the organization and trainers and coaching to be able to get the best out of these guys, out of the raw talent that they drafted. So I'm curious to see what he does and how far he progresses and how fast he progresses in kind of developing his talents, because based on what I saw or based on what I read, this guy has some abilities to be able to compete at the NBA level now to a degree. But again, as we said, it's going to take some time, and I want to see how fast he gets there. You know,
where do you go? What would you like to see him go? And I've actually got a team that I'm going to give you, but you go first. I want to hear what you want to say, where he's going to go.
Oh man. I haven't really thought of that in mind. Go ahead and say yours, because I feel like I'm probably going to end up agreeing with what you got.
Don't agree with me. That's boring ass radio. You know this shit. We've been talking about that. Ideally, okay. This is where I think. I think that, and it's kind of funny, I think maybe he's going to be a surprise. It's going to be a surprise pick. I think he goes in the top 8. He won't fall past 8. I originally had him going to New Orleans and creating that backcourt of McCollum and Johnny Davis, along with Brandon Ingram, and a now Photoshop fit Zion Williamson, because you can't lose 100 pounds in like 20 days. I've tried and I couldn't even do that. You cannot do that. And you cannot gain that much muscle. That's bullshit. That's all Photoshop. But New Orleans needs that combo guard, I think, with McCollum and Brandon Ingram. So I don't have him going past New Orleans. And the only reason why is because the guy that I'm looking forward to, as I'm going to mention in a little bit, isn't going to be there where New Orleans is picking. I think he's going to go way earlier now. But now looking at it, number 7 to Portland, now that they've got Jeremy Grant, they could snag a guy like Johnny Davis, because you got to pair somebody with Dame. And I mean, Dame has, he kind of likes Johnny Davis a little bit too. He's kind of liking some of these other guards. So I think Portland goes with the guard. He's either going to go to Portland at 7 or New Orleans at 8. Where do you think he drops or goes to in this draft?
I mean, personally, between the two, I think both of them are good picks, because New Orleans, like, we saw something special with McCollum and Ingram together in those playoffs, even giving the Suns a run for their money. Yeah. Again, it's just lack of experience. And of course, the Suns were just better. They had more depth in that series too. But I would love to see him go to Portland, team up with Dame. And of course, like we just mentioned earlier, Jeremy Grant, which is a huge pickup for them. And Portland had to put their foot on the pedal going forward in order to keep Dame happy, to keep reloading that team, because they've had team building issues and injury issues over the past couple of years. So I think they're going to have a lot of applied pressure on their throats to deliver in this draft, and I can see Johnny Davis winding up there.
The more I think about it, the more I'm looking at it, because you're pairing Dame, Johnny Davis, you have Jeremy Grant, you still have Nurkic there. I mean, it's looking like that would be a really good fit for Johnny Davis there. I'm looking at the depth for New Orleans real quick, and yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird, because you could slide Brandon Ingram down to the small forward, and then you have Herb Jones, who's playing small forward, coming off the bench and providing all that defense. Like, oh my God. I mean, that's kind of scary, because not only that, if you get a healthy Zion, which, maybe 1 donut a day Zion and not 100 donuts a day Zion, you pair him up with Valanciunas, New Orleans is a contender.
Yeah, they're looking good. They're looking like a playoff team. And we haven't even mentioned Jose Alvarado. That guy really shined in the playoffs.
The Hamburglar. Stealing everything.
Yeah, he's a monster on defense, provided points. I mean, really, he's like that perfect locker room dude for that team.
That New Orleans could be very scary if they get a player like Johnny Davis. But the guy that I'm looking forward to, I've been so excited about this guy since he played in the tournament. That's Benedict Mathurin, dude. Oh my God, this guy. I said you have one or two potential superstars. Benedict Mathurin, and you can quote me on this. What is it? 8:56 on June 22nd, draft eve. You can quote me. Benedict Mathurin could potentially be that superstar out of this draft. And I like him going number 5 to Detroit. I've been praying that he drops to 9 and goes to the Spurs. But the types of workouts that he's had lately, his interviews they've been A+++++. I mean, everything you want in a player, Benedict Mathurin gives you. So this is my superstar for the draft is Benedict Mathurin. I think he goes 5 to Detroit, pairing him with Cade Cunningham. Whew. Shemaya, your Pistons, I'm gonna watch them. If they get Mathurin and they have Cade Cunningham, you might be pulling out that old, Bill Laimbeer jersey or whichever jersey you've got hidden up, trying to get those cobwebs off, Shemaya, because it's gonna be.
We might
get that Joe Dumars jersey, Shemaya.
We might get Walker Kessler though, because he's a big guy that I think might do well. No, I'm serious. I think he might do well in the NBA. I mean, I know that's a random pick, but I'm just saying.
No, it's not.
He's a tall dude, and we don't see a lot of 7-foot guys do their thing. Mm-hmm. It's all about the smaller guys. But I think he's a sleeper, in my opinion, Walker Kessler. He's someone that I think can do very well in the NBA. So we'll see.
I have no doubts in my mind that Shemaya's right on Walker Kessler. I think at number 5, it's be a little too early for him. I think Walker Kessler is a late first-round pick, but Detroit can easily jump back in there and grab him. I mean, especially now that they moved Jeremy Grant, they can slip back in there. But Walker Kessler would make some sense for Detroit. Just at number 5, it'd be way too early to pick Kessler at that point. But you never know, man. You never know. Detroit could trade back in there and get Walker Kessler, who's Shemaya's boy. We're going to say that's Shemaya's boy. He's looking forward to Walker Kessler. He's looking forward to hopefully Walker putting on a Pistons jersey as well. But draft night is tomorrow. That's going to be a lot of fireworks. And we're going to get into some Spurs Chisme. We're rolling right along here. This is Sweep the League. Shemaya on the beat, stats, Rudy Campos Jr. Rocky, he's at a meeting. And we're just going to be full disclosure. We're going to tell everybody it is. Rocky's at a meeting because he is a journalist and it's a journalistic meeting. And he's learning how to use Microsoft Word. So that's why he's at that meeting. He doesn't know how to use Microsoft Word.
Cue the applause sound effect right now. There you go.
We need that sound effect. He's using how to use Word.
Anytime someone learns how to use Word is a good. No, I'm dead serious, because there are a lot of people who don't know how to use Microsoft Word. So that's big. Last I
heard, he's learning how to start the program, and then I think now he's working on fonts, like how to switch to fonts. Gotcha. So he's on the fast track.
Single space or double space?
Ooh.
Oh man, that's
what makes men right there. That's what makes studs right there.
That's the difference between a Hall of Famer and just your average Joe right there.
Yeah, because all the average typers always do double space to make it look like they have a long article.
Hey, Rock, let me know when you learn italics. All right, bro.
Yeah. What is that one? Is it Woodwings? Those symbols or whatever it is? It's something like that. I'm going to type out a letter like that for you guys. We're going to see if we can decode it and stuff like that. But that's where Rock is. Rock is out learning Microsoft Word. From what I understand, next week he's moving on to Excel. So that's going to be tough for Rock. So
exciting.
Shout out to Rock out there.
Exciting.
Spurs Chisme. 9th pick tomorrow, 20th pick, and the 25th pick. Basically simple, man. Jalen Duren is a consensus number 1 pick for the Spurs. For the number 9, you see every mock draft, a lot of people are going after him. Armchair GMs are so in love with Jalen Duren. Biggest question for Chisme, simple for you guys. Do the Spurs make a trade? And if they do, what do you think it is tomorrow night?
Shemaya, you want to go?
No, stats is all you right now.
I'm calling you. You say you're the man.
Okay.
You're the man with the stats. You should know.
Okay. Well, it would be nice.
What does your gut tell you? What does your gut tell you?
They're not going to do anything. That's what my gut tells me.
It's like typical, right? Typical
I know.
Spurs.
It's not. It's so funny because you mentioned early on in the episode they're so like ballsy with their picks because they don't care what you think. They're going to pick their guy, but at the same time they don't make these bold trades on draft night unless it's trading George Hill for Kawhi Leonard. But you usually don't see that on draft night from the Spurs. So I believe my gut's telling me they're not going to do anything. It would be nice if they were able to trade those last 2 picks, like the 20 and 25, to perhaps move up a little bit, but I don't think they're going to do it.
I think they might try to move into that. I'm looking again, this is something that I'm looking at. You have those 2 picks, 20 and 25th. I think you could package the 20th and a player, maybe even your second round pick, try to get into that 15 through 18 range. Because that's where you're going to get, in my opinion, 15 and 18 is where you're going to get that difference maker, but in a solid role player. So a Josh Richardson type player. He can come in, he can get you some points, he can do all the dirty work, get you right there. A Trey Jones type of player. A Derek White type of player. 15 to 18 range. You could even, if you wanted to, you could even give Charlotte a call. Charlotte wants a big man. They'll take Jakob, I'm pretty sure. Say, we'll give you 20 and Jakob for 13. I mean, you can get somewhere in that middle first round and get you another solid player, I believe, right there. So if I'm Brian Wright, I'm making those calls. And I'm seeing what is out there. What do people want? You've got a lot of teams that really don't want to draft this year. And I kind of feel that in my gut. You have a lot of teams that don't, like Minnesota at 19. I mean, do they necessarily, they're really just going to draft a guy to kind of draft and stash. I mean, they don't need anybody there. Chicago at 18, again, you've got a great team. You're probably not going to want a rookie to come in and kind of, especially if you re-sign Levine, you're not going to,
which is looking more likely.
Yeah. So you're not going to want a guy to come in, a rookie, and you may want to get another veteran somewhere. Cleveland is kind of, they're a playoff team. I mean, they were in the playoff mix or playoffs for last year. It's kind of like you've got your pieces there. You could add another one, but what Cleveland's really missing is a solid veteran. Then you got Charlotte at 13 and 15. These are all teams that they have needs that are filled, but I think they have more of a need for a veteran.
Yeah, like an established type of player.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like they're right there, but they need that veteran leadership, that locker room guy to just kind of get them over the hump.
I mean, you mentioned like two names, Cleveland and Charlotte. I mean, those are 2 teams that have a whole like bunch of young talent, but they just are missing those vets and like even like a veteran all-star potentially to just go in there and be that leader and help.
They're not trading Murray stats. They're not trading Murray. Relax.
No, I don't want them to trade Murray.
You're right though. No, you're right. Cleveland has, they relied on Kevin Love. I mean, Kevin Love ain't shit. Charlotte, man. Charlotte's that one team I think that you want to look out for. I think Charlotte's that one team where they've got 13 and 15. Jordan's tired of losing. He wants to win. If he can get that big name, I think that's where we're going to see a potential move. Now, it may not be by the Spurs, but I think that could be the place where they can get a potential move there. But yeah, overall, I mean, I think we're going to probably see some fireworks tomorrow, even though wherever there's smoke with the Spurs, nothing ever happens. That's all it is, just smoke. Final thoughts, man. We talked NBA draft. Before we get into sweep or keep, final thoughts on the draft. What are you expecting to happen tomorrow? Do you expect number 1 and 2 and 3 to go the way it's supposed to be, and Jabari, Chet, and then Paolo? Do you expect maybe a surprise? Right now, I have one guy trying to convince me that Orlando is going to pull the rug out of everybody and take Shaedon Sharpe number 1. I've seen it all. I've seen it all.
It could happen. I think we're definitely going to see Gordon get traded, though. Gordon Hayward. Mm-hmm. I can see him easily getting moved in this draft, and I'm curious to see where he ends up. Just a little note here too. Bradley Beal declined his player option with the Wizards, so he's a free agent.
I didn't want to bring that up because I'm still kind of torn on that, but there is a team that's going to have 30 plus million available, and that is the San Antonio Spurs. You need a shooter. You need a star. You need a good, legitimate star.
Good wing. Yep.
It just makes too much sense for it to happen. The basketball gods, they like to tease us like in that Geico commercial with $1. You almost had it, almost there. And that's kind of the way it feels like. It just makes too much sense for the Spurs to get Bradley Beal. Way too much sense. I mean...
Isn't that unfortunate? Like the more something makes sense from a Spurs fan, the least likely it's going to happen.
And that's the reason why I'm not ever excited about the offseason, because you hear this, I want this guy, I want that guy, I need this guy. This guy's going to make the Spurs as a contender. These guys ain't going to do shit. You're not getting a Kevin Durant. You're not getting, a LeBron James or anything like that. Yeah. These guys are not going to make the impact that those guys do. And even on Kevin Durant, man, next week's episode is going to be a lot about Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant, I think, is quietly turning into one of the biggest jokes in the NBA, depending on what happens with the Kyrie incident, the whole Kyrie thing. So we're going to get into that more later next week. But enough of NBA draft talk. Shemaya's ready. He's chomping at the bit. So am I. It's sweep or keep time. All right, Stats, the floor is all yours, buddy.
All right, gentlemen. Welcome back to the game of Sweep or Keep here on Sweep the League Radio. For those of you who are just joining us for the first time, let me just break down the rules real quick. So I'm going to bring up a piece of news, whether it's from Twitter, whether it's from, well, who knows where. But the idea is these guys can either sweep it, which means it's rubbish, absolute garbage to them. They disagree with it. Or they can keep it and stash that on their shelf, which means they like it a lot and agree with it. So, gentlemen, let's get started. Let's play Sweep or Keep. So, Number one, gentlemen, Dallas head coach Mike McCarthy was fined $100,000, and the Cowboys were docked an organized team activity for 2023 for holding practices that were deemed too physical by the NFL. Sweep or keep?
I think that's more harsher than giving Jerry Jones the penalty. And we saw Jerry doing lines and partying with hookers. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep this. Dallas deserves all the shit they get. They deserve it all. I mean, you want to break rules, you pay the penalty. So I'm going to keep this.
Yeah, you got to uphold the standard, man.
You got to uphold the standards. Jerry and Mike Irvin doing, powdery substances. You got to keep your foot on Dallas's throat. Shemaya, you sweeping or keeping this? I don't know what he's doing, but he's doing something.
He's sweeping.
I
heard that. Yeah,
all right,
for a second.
He's sweeping. Okay, yeah. I was going to say, wait a minute. I am talking about lines of coke, and then we hear that, and I'm like, what's going on over there, man? Come on, Shemaya. That's not that kind of show. What do we got next?
That is so Shemaya, though, using a sound effect instead. I like that. All right, gentlemen, number two. So this should be a pretty fun one. Okay, so this is a quote by Charles Barkley. Apparently, he made a bet with Kenny Smith. I don't know if you all heard about this. So Barkley said, listen, if the Golden State Warriors beat the Boston Celtics in the finals, best believe I'll record myself eating a bowl of horse crap. I'm not lying, Kenny. Remind me in a few weeks. Sweep or keep?
This is a tough one. I want to sweep it because I don't want to see a guy eating shit. But it's Charles Barkley, so oh, God.
You kind of want to see it, right?
I kind of want to see it, but I remember Stifler eating a piece of shit in one of the American Pie movies, and that was disgusting. I'm going to sweep it. I gagged when I saw that on the big screen. So, Yeah, I'm sweeping it. I don't want to see anybody eating any crap at all. And we may make that bet with Rocky next week. Shemaiah's sweeping? Is he sweeping?
Oh, is he sweeping?
Yeah, that's a sweeping.
That's okay. That's a sweep. Yeah, he's doing multiple sweeps on that. God, not even Shemaiah wants to see this dude eat crap. And he's the perfect guy.
I don't think anybody, Shemaiah's a perfect guy, but I don't think anybody wants to see. No. We're going to sweep on to the next.
I don't know. Like initially, I feel like you think like, oh, this sounds hilarious. It's a great idea because it's Barkley and he talks a bunch of crap.
That's 2 Barkleys in 1 cup there.
Oh God! Why did you bring that up, man? Oh God, that's another show right there.
Oh my God,
he's trying to beat the video.
I wonder if Barkley would do that.
All right, sorry, y'all who are out there listening to this. You're not going to go to sleep anytime soon or eat anytime soon. But gentlemen, number 3, sweep or keep. Jonathan Kuminga is 19 years old, which means he can't go to the clubs with his teammates. Sweep or keep?
Wow. I'm going to keep that one because, I mean, you're 19. You still got to obey the rules. But
yeah,
you know what? No, bullshit. Sweep it because you're 19 and we were all 19. I mean, Shemaiah's probably like 19 now. He's young. I know he's super young.
He's a stud, man.
He's a
fine
stud.
Wine.
Yeah, he's fine wine. I'm gonna sweep that because I call total bullshit. You may not be able to get in the club, but you're Kuminga. You make millions of dollars. Bring that damn party to the house. There's no reason why these guys should be going to the club. You know what? Bring the club to the house. Am I right or am I wrong?
No, you got a point, man. You got a point. You can get, there you go.
You can get drunk in your own house, can't you? Is that still a thing? As long as mommy and daddy are there, you can get drunk?
I guess so. I
Shit. Like,
all right, we got the Shemaiah soundboard right here. I love it.
Nice.
We got the stud soundboard.
Nice. What's next, man? We got another one?
Yes, we do. Oh, okay. So here we go. This is a quote by everyone's favorite Pittsburgh Steeler wide receiver, Chase Claypool. He said,
"Oh God, I heard this one.
You may have heard of this one."
Yeah.
He said, "I know I'm a top 3 receiver, period. Sweep or keep?"
Sweep. 100% sweep. They're top. That's what we've been missing, man. The great sound effects that Shemaiah brings. Dude,
the drops.
Again, bullshit. I call it bullshit. We're sweeping that. There's no way. Top 3 receiver, Chase Claypool. I mean, was he even the best receiver on his team?
No, he wasn't.
Deontay Johnson is the best receiver on that team. After that is what? Pat Freiermuth is the best receiver? Get the hell out of here, Claypool. I mean, Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase. I mean, the list goes on and on. That's way better than him. Yeah. Get out of here. No, sweep that.
Exactly. There you go. Just your response in a soundbite. That's perfect. Because that was my thought too.
Why can't we get these on the radio, Shemaiah? I mean, we would have just paid the FCC fine.
Yeah, you'll be kicked off in the next 5 minutes.
All right, guys. I got one more, and this one's juicy because I could see the two of you just getting on this guy for saying this. Okay, so this is a quote from Chris Paul. He says, he says, "All I'm saying is we had the best record in the league by 8 games, and then one small series, and our season is over. How is that good for the NBA?" And he says on the state of the NBA, and this is what it says at the top of this quote: Chris Paul wants to change the NBA playoffs format. So, are we going to sweep, or are we going to keep this?
Sweep it.
Yep.
This is total bullshit because you lost and you lost. You were what? They were the number 1 seed, right?
Yeah.
Were they?
Yeah.
Okay. So you lost. That is the problem for the NBA to fix. No, the problem is you. Get better players, play a better game, be more cohesive. If you need a player to fill in the spot, get the player in the offseason, make your team better. Don't bitch about it. You know why? Because out of 30 teams, only one is going to be the champion at the end. It cannot be more than one. There are no, well, I take that back because the NBA decided to pussify the league and give participation trophies because only one person can win the NBA Finals MVP. So let's give away conference finals MVPs. Total bullshit on that. But there's only one real champion. So if your team didn't win the championship, tough shit. The NBA is not going to bail you out.
It's Britney, bitch.
Oh, wow. All right, there we go. Wow. I mean, he's kind of, it makes Paul look really bad.
I like this. I like this Shemaya right here.
Yeah.
We need more soundbite cussing Shemaya.
I think that meme sound went over most people's heads.
Right. Because the second I saw this quote, I was like, I know both of you would have, because both of you already have strong feelings on Chris Paul, but I knew the second this quote came out, it makes him look so bad. There you go. It makes him look so bad. But gentlemen, that was the game of sweep or keep.
Nice, man. I like that Chris Paul one to end it. I really do, because I was really pissed off about that and seeing that. What do you think, Stats? I want to hear your thoughts on that real quick.
It pissed me off too because it made him look like a sore loser. We all know the Suns. The Suns really blew it, and we all know it. They really blew that series. I mean, they fell apart just like the Celtics did, at the end of the finals there. So, yeah, and it just comes across like a poor excuse, and we all see right through it.
Yeah,
just ask Brittany, man.
Not Brittany, bitch. Well, man, this was another great one talking NBA draft. We got on Spurs Twitter a little bit. We definitely came after them like we always do. And we love Spurs Twitter. We love interacting. I interact with Spurs Twitter all the time. So we'll see what happens tomorrow in the draft. Cross our fingers the Spurs get the best player available. It doesn't necessarily have to be Jalen Durant. You don't have to reach for any player. There's going to be plenty of players that are going to be equal after pick 4 and 5. I think that's when, you start looking at players and they kind of all just look the same. I mean, stat wise, you're going to have guys that all do pretty much the same thing. So we'll see what happens tomorrow, guys. Be sure to tune in to Baller Boys podcast. It's every Tuesday, am I mistaken? Every Tuesday?
Yes, sir. We record every Tuesday, but there are multiple episodes out weekly.
Yeah, multiple episodes out weekly. Baller Boys podcast with Shemaya and Stats. Also, don't forget I Am Refocused Radio with Shemaya. Tons of great interviews. He even got to interview the one and only Hillary Banks as well, which I'm still jealous. Shemaya, I want to, give you a huge hug when I see you next time for that, because I've had a massive crush on Hillary Banks for so many years. And, yeah, you're going to be the closest thing I'll ever get to ever talking to Hillary Banks. So go check out I Am Refocused Radio.
Just wishing you a good evening.
Go check out I Am Refocused Radio. Interviews dropping every single week by Shemaya. Great stuff out there. So for Shemaya on the beats, for Stats, for Derek Gervin, and for The Rock himself, hopefully he gets straight A's on this Microsoft Word class. Rudy Campos Jr., this has been Sweep the League. Until we sweep the league again, we'll see you guys next week.
Adios.